Of course there's this bridge. Of course there's a bridge like this. Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to be once again reacting to some more video game music, and of course we are going to be doing some more Guilty Gear Strive. And the song that we are going to be doing today is Mirror of the World, which I think is Baikon's theme, if I say that right, hopefully. And this was a song request that was requested by Sleepo on... Oh, I can't even remember what video it was. It was a request from Sleepo, so thank you very much for that request. Also sent a super thanks, so thank you very much for that as well. And also shout out as well to Ben Christie, who also sent a super thanks, which is very generous of you. Thank you very much. You don't have to do that at all, but very much appreciated. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do before we get into the video, I'll explain how it's going to work, is we're going to listen to this song all the way through without stopping, and I'm going to write some notes as we listen to it, and then we'll go back over it again and we'll talk about little bits and bobs that I notice about it, basically. So that's what we'll do, but before we do that, please do click like on the video as well if you enjoy it, and do subscribe to the channel as well so you can be here for every single one of these reactions as well. Also leave a comment on the video because it helps videos, but also because it you can leave your requests of songs that we can look at in the future, much like Sleepo did. So please put your requests in, and I'll make sure we get to them and add them to the playlist. But having said all of that, so I don't really know, again, it's with Guilty Gear, every song is so unique, every song is so different. I couldn't really find... I noticed that this, I've scrolled across this video, I can see that's a bit different to the usual ones that I look at, so I don't know what it's going to be like. I'll leave a link to this video in the description because it looks like it's fan-made, so go check the video out. But yes, I don't know what to expect, really. I never do. I'm sure I'll probably be surprised, because I always am. But I guess we won't dilly-dally around any longer, and we'll get into the reaction. So let's react to Mirror of the World, Baikon's theme. Baikon's theme? I don't know. From Guilty Gear Strive. In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. Yep, okay. This is really interesting. Alright, here we go. I didn't expect that. Okay. Ooh, that's tasty. So tasty. Ooh.
Call my atmosphere demon. God knows that no voice can be heard by the damned. In the time inside.
heavy, man. So heavy.
There is no salvation, only our God knows there's those who would better handle that is second to them. 平等の不条歴史三千の風情元本の無名三千の少女 Necessary In the time inside I don't need your sympathy. Why won't anyone leave me alone?
My God. Oh, wow. What the fuck? Of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. Oh my God. Oh.
If I had a comrade,
Of course there's this bridge. Of course there's a bridge like this.
what I would tell them. Yes, I knew the answer. It's never over yesterday. No, don't stand still. Life and death will be sacrificed. The pain kill the pain. The hardest road lies ahead. I will be a mirror of the world.
Stop there. Let me bring it back. Well, don't play it again. Don't play it again. We're going to talk about it again in a second. What the hell was that? What? They go so hard every time. Every single time. The songs they do go so hard. They so creative with every aspect of the song. It was a pretty long song. Nearly 7 minutes long, which is long. So you have the fear with a song this long that it will get a bit repetitive. But of course, this being a Guilty Gear song, it throws in stuff that you don't expect it to throw in, and it completely surprises you. And it was mad. It was completely mad, but fantastic. And I'm going to explain why as we go through it again. Right, so I've written quite a lot down. I'm going to try not to pause. I'm going to pause quite a lot at the start because there's a lot that I wrote about at the start. But I'm going to try and leave bigger gaps because it is a long song and I don't want this video to be half an hour long. So let's get back into it and let us go over it and stop and start and talk about what what we heard. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. yeah, so before we carry on. So he's kind of very at the start. Obviously there's this grainy effect. I'm not sure if this grainy effect is on the song or it's just on the video. The kind of old kind of footage, grainy films that sound effect. But like the guitar playing is very reminds me of the Wild West, of that kind of cowboy guitar, good, bad, and the ugly kind of riff. Very dramatic, but very isolated as well, and it kind of gives you the impression of like a lone traveler, I suppose. Obviously, I have not played this game. I will not play this game until I've done the whole soundtrack. So, yeah, so I could be wrong. I don't know, but it does kind of feel like a bit of a lone traveler with this kind of Wild West kind of sounding guitar at the start. And you got that slide. I'm not sure they're using like a slide, which is the glass thing you put on your finger and you slide across. I'm not quite sure, but they are sliding up, which is also kind of like another bluesy country kind of thing that you do on the guitar. And this is really nice, and you get this kind of visual here as well of something going through like a portal, but it's you got this like phaser on the guitar to which kind of make it a bit more mystical. It sounds. I've written down actually. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4 recently. I've actually been streaming it, so if you've been tuning in, that's great. But it reminds me of that kind of like music that you would have in Sanctuary in Diablo 4, which is the main hub city. If you don't know, very magical, mystical. And we kind of got these like wind instruments coming in. It's starting to sound a little bit more like Far Eastern now, which we'll talk about a bit more in a bit. So obviously we've got a samurai here. Yeah, this is the part that's very much like, Transylvanian kind of light, but also eerie, kind of uncomfortable, taking you into, I don't know, like a dangerous place, I suppose. I mean, that's kind of how it feels for me. And we've got this, obviously drums coming in, the song's kicking up, and we've got the bass coming in, and we've got the bass slipping in down and playing at the end of that little phrase, playing like a little the semitone down instead of going to all the other half step down, depending on where you live. Which kind of gives it again that kind of uncomfortable feeling in the riff that the bass plays. And of course, we then go into the heaviest intro, or not the heaviest intro. I don't know. I mean, it's certainly super heavy, straight into this kind of droning, very aggressive, kind of almost kind of like warring vocal, like that people would chant on the way to battle or something like that. It's very visceral. It's very aggressive. It's very tribal. It's really from here where this is being delivered, like it seems a bit more, and because of that, it feels a bit more ancient, I suppose. But yes, let's carry on. But also, yeah, look, classic Guilty Gear, heavy metal tone, fantastic. I love it. I love it. And we've got, I love that the classic metal kind of like harmonic scale kind of solo based around that, and the classic harmonizing guitars playing the same part, but they're playing one guitar's playing the harmony. just a classic tasty metal, heavy metal riff that you'd hear stuff like that across metal from the 70s all the way up to now, and even in this, like classic metal that is. What I'd also find interesting as well is I don't know. I assume at the start they're singing in Japanese, as this is a samurai. I could be wrong, so if I am wrong, I do apologize. But I think obviously singing in that kind of language or in that area is appropriate, and I don't think we've had that yet. We've not had other languages sung, I don't think, in the Guilty Gear song. So it's really nice that they choose to include that, because it actually just also is one thing that completely makes this a different character to the rest of them, because it is leaning into the heritage and the history that this character is based upon, which is really, really cool. Right.
If that's what you call my, I must be a demon. God knows that no voice can be heard by the damned. 歴三千の風情願望の無名三千の少量 Necessary in the
Right, so I wanted to leave that playing for a bit because I've realised I've paused it so much already. But I wanted to get to past the chorus because, look, before that, obviously, you've got some really, really nice like guitar parts and proper like legit metal guitar playing, of course, as you'd expect. But the chorus, I really like what they do is because they're playing really, really fast, really, really aggressive, a lot of moving parts in the verse. But before they kick into the chorus, they just leave a little breath, and then they punch into it. So and the chorus is quite, it's far more legato. It's not staccato. It's far more legato. It's far more letting it ring. It's far more like letting the notes ring. It's far more more ballad-esque as opposed to what we've been having before. And I think leaving that little pause gives us a little bit of a breath, and it gives us a much nicer segue into that type of chorus. Without it, it may have been a bit jarring, but I think it's great. I think it's a great idea, and it's a really, really nice chorus. It's really, really catchy, and it kind of is. They do this a lot in Guilty Gear, where the chorus just kind of brings you out of like this really aggressive moment, and it's like, oh, okay, we're awake again, and we're breathing again, and then it's going to pull us back down into it. It does that really well throughout the entirety of the soundtrack, but in this song as well, it does it really, really nicely. Do you wonder if the people playing the guitar, because it's doing that really low bit, the dun 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 dun, if there's one guitar doing both of those parts, they're obviously a very good guitarist, because that's very difficult when you're playing down here and you got them then suddenly do like an arpeggio kind of at the bottom here. It's if they're doing it in one part, which I think they probably are, or one guitarist is doing both parts. Very good guitarist. Very good guitarist.
There is no salvation for the arrogant. God knows
It's so quick. It's just such fast playing. That's the chorus.
Why won't anyone leave me alone?
So I'll pause it here, but obviously we've got this crazy harmonic minor solo, which is just flying around, playing tons of notes, and it's got that. I really like the nice chromatic bit it does in it. It's like it's like, you know, yeah, it's just really nice to add stuff like that in. You know, you wouldn't, you could have just carried on playing across the scale if you wanted to, but no, that little is memorable. It's very memorable, and it's probably, as you go back to this song later, you'll remember that moment happening, because it stands out a little bit. But it's very nice, very nice. Carry on playing. Now, of course, I'm going to have to stop here and talk about this. Just a straight switch into kind of what the song would have sounded like if it was played in ancient Japan, you know? And that's so cool to be able to do that, to be able to have the musical talent, to be able to produce a really great heavy metal song, and to be able to produce this with older instruments that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't bother to learn or think about learning. Traditional instruments, is really cool. It sounds really nice. Obviously, you've got the kind of, I don't know what the instruments are, but that kind of low, like, wind instrument that is very Far Eastern sounding, and the way that the strings are played and it rings out with the reverb and stuff, it's like, it just puts you straight where, you know, where this character seems to be based from, puts you straight there, and puts you back in time as well, where the, you know, samurais were real, you know, when they were actually a thing in the world. But yeah, let's carry on. Before we go into that, and I just like that really fast, like, playing with the traditional instruments, and it stopped, and then bang, we're straight in with just an insane guitar part. I'm listening carefully, and I'm genuinely unsure if this is played with a guitar with an effect on it, if it's played with like a keyboard. Regardless, incredible playing. That's just it's filthiest riff. Such a filthy riff.
If I had a comrade, I wonder what I would tell them. Yes, I knew the answer.
Alright, before it gets into it, but of course, in a metal song that has traditional Japanese influences in it, you're going to have a beautiful musical theatre style bridge. Of course you are. It's great. I mean, musically, this part is great. It's obviously something you just don't expect to turn up in a song like this, and it does. It's fantastic. Fantastically sung, and it's because it's such a surprise. It's just like, oh, what the hell? What's going? Okay, and then what it leads into is even better, to be honest.
I, 'cause 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 I
gonna just play to the end. Alright, and I'm noticing as well, they're saying stuff about being in exile, being not an exile, so obviously this travelling person is probably being exiled from wherever their home is. That outro, that it is, again, something that Guilty Gear have done before in other songs, where it's like a musical theatre style finale. You are ending the show with the biggest number you possibly can, with the most character. That's why there's a lot, that's why I feel like that, because there's a lot of overlapping, because usually with, musical theatre, if you watch it, at the end they'll have all the characters coming back and singing parts over each other, and then it'll build to a nice big end. Also reminds me of like an anime song, which is, I guess, is quite appropriate, to be honest. I just love the end. The layering is really, really nice, and it really brings everything home. And it's really difficult to tie up a package of a song where everything is so different and there's so many different parts. But stuff like that, layering everything, reminding us of all the little parts of the song and the little journey that the song's taken us on, at the end of the song, ties it up with a nice little bow very, very nicely, and makes it a really enjoyable song to listen to. But as I can see that we have been recording this video long enough, so I'm going to end it here. So thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the song as well in the comments below, and let me, what did you like there, what did you not like about it, what did you notice that I didn't? Please put that in the comments below, and also put your suggestions in as well, because of course I'll add those to the list and we'll get to them like we did today. So please add your suggestions in of songs we should look at in the future. But having said all of that, thank you for watching again. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to watch some more of these videos as they come out. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.